Hey, what is up guys? It is your boy Manny from the Art of Finance, and in today's video I'll be going over the Barclays Card's Avios Plus card. Is it worth your time? Is it worth applying for? And is it better than the American Express Gold Card? So let's find out. Here's a quick overview of the card itself. There is a welcome bonus of 25,000 Avios points, and you have to spend £3,000 within the first 3 months. Now, for each pound you spend, you get 1.5 Avios points, which is pretty good, as usually it's a standard £1 for 1 point. Now, if you spend over £10,000 within 12 months, you can also claim a British Airways cabin upgrade voucher, which seems pretty sweet. There's also an extra incentive, a very generous one, I must say, of monthly subscriptions. You could get a 3-month subscription of Apple Music, Apple TV, Apple News, and Apple Arcade. After the 3 months, you have to pay then onwards. There's a representative rate of 72.4 APR and a purchase rate of 23.9%. All of this you get for £20 a month, which sounds great, but let's look into it a bit further. Now, eligibility. Now, before you go ahead and think, oh, is this the card for me? Here are some things that you need to consider. You have to be over 21 years old. You also can't have any individual voluntary agreements, county court judgments, and haven't declared bankruptcy within the last 6 years. You also have to make payments on time, which I hope you are doing anyways. You also must have at least 4 years of experience of managing credit. So the only issue is that if this is your first card that you're trying to get, or a credit builder card, this isn't the card for you because you most likely aren't going to have 4 years of experience. But if you do have the 4 years, you're probably well into the credit card game and you can go ahead for this card. So if you're first time credit card user or getting into credit cards, unfortunately you can't apply for this particular one. You also need to you also have to have a permanent address within the UK for at least 2 years and a personal income of over 20k, which I think is sensible because if you don't have 20k, I don't think this card is for you as it is, because that is a very low amount. And you also need to be able to afford the repayments and any outstanding credit commitments, which is fairly obvious. Now, the welcome bonus. So as I said, you will get 25,000 Avios points if you spend £3,000 within your first 3 months. It has to be 3,000, not a penny less, for you to claim this bonus. Now, if you are a existing Barclays card customer and you want this particular card, you unfortunately don't get any of the welcome bonuses, but you can opt in to pay the £20 for the £1 spend to get 1.5 Avios points. So if you want to check if you're eligible, you could go into the Barclays Cards app and you could pretty much check for eligibility. They make it pretty simple. Now, looking at each point, as I said, for every pound you spend, you get 1.5 Avios points, which is pretty good. Usually it's a 1-to-1 ratio. For every pound you spend, you get one particular point. For this one, you get 1.5, so a bit more of an incentive to get this particular card. But you've got to remember there is also that £20 fee, that monthly fee that you got to spend. Now, for each pound that you spend, you will definitely get 1.5 Avios points on any purchase that you make, except for the following. You can't do anything dodgy in terms of balance transfer, money transfer, transactions that make up your cash balance, and anything that you've refunded, you do not get any Avios points for it. So whatever you spend, there's no way of getting around it. You have to spend to get your points. Now, looking at the monthly fee. The monthly fee, I think, is actually really good. It's £20 a month. It's not an annual fee like the American Express, where they charge you £140 for the fee straight up when you apply for it or whenever you've signed up. So with American Express, you pay up front, and with this is actually a bit more flexible. It's actually made into a monthly fee, so you can pretty much decide to cancel or downgrade at any particular time, compared to the American Express where it's paid up front and you feel like you have to be in it for all that time to make the most of it. Now, I think this is really good, as this is a very good pro to this particular card, and I'll tell you why in just a little bit. Now, there's that extra incentive that if you've done your 3 months and you spent £3,000 and you claimed your 25,000 Avios points, if you are a big spender and you spend another £10,000 in total within the 12 months, you could claim a cabin upgrade. Now, I'll just give you a quick breakdown of what 40,000 points could do for you and the cabin upgrade itself. Now, adding together your Avios points for everyday spending and your welcome bonus, you will collect 40,000 Avios points if you spend £10,000 on your card in your first year. You would also receive a British Airways cabin upgrade to use on your Avios Rewards flight booking. Bearing in mind, all of this is booked through BA itself, and they've got a section of where to spend your Avios points, and this of course is slightly increased compared to normal pricing, but that's just something you have to deal with. You could also spend your Avios points on all kinds of travel experiences. Here are some of the examples of where your Avios could take you. 40,000 points for an off-peak Club Europe return flight from London to Venice, Lisbon or Madrid. 30,000 points, a Club Europe flight from London to Nice, Paris or Amsterdam. So it's not too bad. I'll throw up some prices so you can see how much that might particularly cost you if you were to do it just generally. Now, do I think this card is worth it? Especially compared to another card, let's say the Amercian Express Gold Card, where they've got really good incentives, pretty much very similar, but they offer a bit more. Now, the annual fee for this Amercian Express card is £140, compared to the Barclays card, which is £240. Now, that's £100 increase for having the Barclays Avios Plus. Now, particularly, I don't think it's worth it. I think you get so much more benefits if you do apply for the Amercian Express card. Now, I think you'll get accepted to both if you have a good to excellent credit score, so that's not an issue. Now, I feel like one of the biggest things is that anywhere you go in the world, MasterCard, you're most likely going to be accepted. So if you're a big traveler and you go place to place, most like 9 out of 10 times your Barclays cards will work. Compared to an Amercian Express, might be maybe a 6 or a 7. But bearing in mind, Amercian Express is being accepted more nowadays, especially in major retailers and major brands. Now, the reason why you will find that you won't find Amercian Express being accepted in smaller institutions or smaller like CAFs is due to the rates that they charge their merchant. So the MasterCard might charge from 1.5 to 2.5%, whereas Amercian Express could charge from 3.5% upwards. So that would be diminishing returns for any transaction that the merchant does with an Amercian Express card, that being an Amex, is so much more, so it hurts the business. So that's why you don't see smaller businesses accepting Amercian Express. Whereas the large chains could afford it and they want a customer variety, so they could definitely afford this expense. Now, I feel like the best way to make this card work for you, I feel like it's not a great card, especially when compared to an Amercian Express, but I do believe if you are adamant and you definitely want something that's MasterCard and you could still earn points on, the normal Barclays Avios card is really good. So the reason being is that there's a no fee and it's a 1-to-1 ratio, so you lose a little bit, but bearing in mind you also still get some of this. You also get the subscriptions, the Apple Music, the Apple TV, Apple News and Apple Arcade. Most likely for most people, I could see them probably spent, after the trial was expired, maybe keeping Apple Music or Apple TV, seeing that it's a good service. And this is widely accepted anyway, and it's no fee. The representative rates are 23.9% and the purchase rate is 23.9%, which is pretty good. Now, the best way to make this work for you is for you to sign up to the Barclays Avios Plus card, pay the fee for 3 months and make sure you hit the 3k spending limit. So once you've hit that and you've got your points, from there I'll just literally downgrade. So you're literally paying £60 fee and then downgrading, and you're not paying no more because that fee is so heavy. This is the best way to make it work. Now, you're not losing out in terms of points because it's a 1-to-1 ratio compared to 1.5 to 1. So it's not the end of the world if you're missing out on that, and you're not really going to miss out on that much. And I believe even with this particular card, if you do spend up to £10,000 as well throughout the first year, or I think it might be double on this particular one, £20,000, then you also get a cabin upgrade. So there is that route for you. But I think this is the best way of going about getting the Barclays Avios card is literally getting the plus, downgrading after 3 months, and go from there. That's if you don't want to go for the American Express route. So that has been the video for today. I really do hope that you like it. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if you want me to do an in-depth guide of a review of the American Express Gold Card, Platinum, or whichever card, please let me know. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Art of Finance. Peace.